Hey everybody, this is Marian here. I've decided to start up my YouTube channel again in addition to my book blog. I just have so much fun creating content here on YouTube, and I've mainly been doing shorts lately, but I figure, I just wanted to make some full videos, share what I've been reading, share what I've been cooking. This is actually some footage that I made last fall, and it was during a week where I was cooking a lot from my Live, Eat, Learn cookbook. I'll put a link to her blog here. She's one of my favorite food blogs. The recipe that I'm making here is her Marry Me chickpeas, and they're so good. I was a little hesitant the first time I made it because I didn't know if I like sun-dried tomatoes, but oh my goodness, they're so good. And I'm not even really a tomato person, to be honest. Some of the other recipes that I really enjoy from this cookbook are pretty much any of the soups. I really like the coconut kidney bean curry, and it's just so nice to buy some crusty bread and bring it home, air fry it a little bit, and eat it with my dinner. This was a dinner that we had the night before Dave had a cyclocross race, so while he was down in the basement working on his bike, I was on the couch with Hazel, and we were reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This is a book that became really popular on TikTok, and I thought that I would like it a lot more than I wound up liking it. I think that I'm just not that into romance books anymore, and I don't know, I really like thrillers, I really like cozy mysteries, but this book just felt so silly to me, and I did kind of alternate between listening to the audiobook and reading the regular ebook from Kindle Unlimited. And I also think that the narrator of the audiobook kind of ruined it for me. It just wasn't how I imagined the main character. It just goes to show that audiobook narrators, who you pick, is really important to how people enjoy the story. So I didn't get that far into it during the evening, but I knew that I would have time to be reading the next day before the cyclocross race. On Saturday morning, I poured myself a big cup of coffee in my travel mug, and I read for a little bit before we left. It wound up being a really beautiful day, and I can't wait to show you my footage. It's always a little bit nervous watching the start of the race because there's so many different riders and everybody's trying to get ahead. I remember 2 years ago when we were at this course and a whole bunch of people just fell over in the beginning, and it makes me very nervous. But Dave is very good at bike handling, and so I really don't have anything to be nervous about. You might see him in some of the clips here. He's the one with the neon yellow helmet. It's a little bit crazy watching this part as the guys have to either carry or bike up the hill. A lot of people do wind up running up the hill carrying their bikes, and that's allowed. Cyclocross is just so intensive, and I can't even imagine how tired these guys must be at the end. I did wind up reading a little bit of The Pumpkin Spice Cafe during the morning, but not a lot. We were pretty busy walking around watching the different races. When we got home, I did read a little bit more, and I had some leftover soup. This is actually a gnocchi soup from the Live, Eat, Learn cookbook that I mentioned earlier. And then in the afternoon, we wound up going to Fall Fest. It's really sad that the Nitro Bar is closed. There's a moving crate here. But we wound up doing a couple of laps up and down the street. We had some good drinks. And then we also went around visiting people and just looking at the different vendors. One of my favorite things is walking around and listening to the different bands going on. There's just so much to do and so much to see. On Sunday, Dave was out working on a car, and I had a lazy morning at home with Hazel. I had some coffee, and then I wound up turning on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in, and the episode that I was watching this morning was actually pretty chaotic in a good way. It's a very bad but good show. I'm not really into reality TV, but this one is just very interesting to me because of the TikTok component. And then I spent a couple of hours just working on blog content. I have some evergreen posts that I'm currently writing, and I also have some book reviews that I need to catch up on. So there's a ton of stuff that I need to write, and sometimes the best time to do that is to just like block off my time on a weekend morning and get stuff done. I also really love to walk around the neighborhood, especially during the last few fall days where it's nice out. I like to listen to audiobooks, and I also like to listen to podcasts. So if you have any recommendations, definitely hit me up in the comments section. Like I said, this footage is from last fall, and I've collected it until now, but I really don't remember what I was listening to at the time. I didn't really like the audiobook of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, so I was probably listening to Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. And then my ebook that I switched to, I wound up putting off the Pumpkin Spice Cafe for a couple of months, so I was reading The Merriest Misters. I wound up really enjoying this book because it reminded me of The Santa Claus starring Tim Allen, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. So I do really recommend that if you're looking for something fun, romantic, and Christmassy to read this year. And then my last bit of footage here is from Fair Week. I always wind up walking because our parking lot is a public lot, and so it winds up getting really full. Today I was listening to a podcast, I believe, while I walked. There's just something so much fun about the fair, and I love going out during my lunch break and buying myself a little treat like dessert or buying tacos from one of the taco stands. Dave and I always drive down on Wednesday nights so that we can go to the parade and get dinner at the fair, so I'm really looking forward to that and hoping that the weather stays good. So that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking around and listening to me ramble, and if you're looking for more book talk, hit subscribe and stick around for the next one. Bye!